Good morning and welcome to my channel, The Fruitcake Astrologer, where I will give you an astrologer's take on current events and people in the news. If you enjoy these readings, I hope you will like, share, and subscribe. So, Pete Buttigieg dropped out on the eve of Super Tuesday, which I found so shocking. I thought he was a top contender. Consider that he had got first, second, third, the last two weren't that great. But compared to Biden, holy smokes, he was like doing so much better. So I was very shocked to see him dropping out on the eve of Super Tuesday. And I couldn't help but wonder, why did he drop out? What's going on, So I asked the cosmos. This is called Horary Astrology. We get to ask a question. Now, you will notice that 29 of Leo rises. That means this is a done deal. There's, it's already decided. 29 of Leo is conjunct the fixed star called Regulus, the king. Okay, interestingly enough, Trump's ascendant is at 29 of Leo. So kind of describing him as, kingly. Also kind of interesting to an astrologer, the fixed star Algol is on the midheaven. And the midheaven is how people see you. Okay, so your status in the world. And Algol he lost his head. So people are thinking, what happened? You lost your head. What's going on? Now, I believe Pete will live to regret this decision. The chart indicates this was not the best decision. Why do I say that? First off, because Algol rules the midheaven. He lost his head. The sun, which rules Pete, is conjunct Neptune. Neptune confuses and dissolves. It literally says it dissolved his kingship. And the third reason is because Mercury is retrograde, tightly opposing his ascendant there in Pisces. Mercury retrograde in Pisces. Oh my goodness. Now, I think he's not seeing things clearly. Was he deceived? That I could make a case that someone sat him down and, he was deceived. And it occurs to me that he's a young guy. He's probably not as savvy in the ways of the political world, which can get pretty ugly. Okay, so the gist is that he was offered vice presidency, and that looks to be real because the moon's final aspect is a sextile to his ascendant at 29 from the 11th house, which, yes, rules the vice president. The president is the 10th. The vice president is the 11th. So I do think he was offered a vice president berth. But I don't think that's it. I think they threw the kitchen sink at this guy. For instance, see the grand trine there from the ascendant up to Uranus and Venus and all the way down in that stellium in Capricorn. So now the 9th house rules justice. Maybe he was offered attorney general. The 9th house rules politics. Maybe he was told, I will fund your campaign. If you want to run for senator, we'll be behind you. And I say financially because of Taurus. Okay? And it also rules foreign things. The 9th house rules foreign things. Was he offered a Secretary of State position? So, I think that they offered not just that to him, but also, and we'll see if I'm right on this, I think they offered his husband a cushy job, a really well-paying, maybe even shockingly well-paid job. And I also believe that part of Pete's decision was based on his husband. Why do I say that? Because Aquarius rules the 7th house of marriage, okay? And you see Uranus in that big grand trine. Now, the 7th house describes his spouse. And look at the stellium in Pisces. The guy wasn't having a good time. His husband was, I think the husband was a big part of his decision to back out. Maybe he's saying, I'm not liking all this scrutiny. I mean, consider it, guys, how, being in the limelight like that, the press just eats you alive. People can be so ridiculously brutal that I could definitely see why he's like, I'm not really ready for this right now. And, maybe I don't like you gone all the time. And I'm making this up. I don't know. But it looks like the opposition of Mercury in Pisces retrograde was a factor in the decision. In other words, his husband wasn't enjoying it. So we come to the great cosmic tug of war that, we all face between our career, the 10th house, and our home and family in the 4th house. That's the great tug of war. Do I spend too much time on your career and your personal life suffers? Spend too much time in your personal life and your career suffers. So I do think that was a factor. Bottom line, I think Pete diminished himself. I think people are going to see him as someone, who lost his head, who maybe sold out financially. Okay. And we'll see if I'm right about his husband getting some big, nice, cushy job. I don't know. Anyway, but I think he will regret this decision. And lest you pass judgment on young Pete, how many of us have made bad decisions in our lives? Many of us have. So we'll see if he rises above it, later in his career. He's still quite young. Anyway, I hope you like, share, and subscribe. If you enjoy this, I'm going to be doing more charts on the political scene as the election approaches.